You know that feeling when you've worked so hard on something and, well, even if it's not that great, you end up loving it anyway? It turns out there's this really fascinating psychological battle going on inside your own head to explain that. And today, we are diving right into two rival theories that try to explain how our choices can, believe it or not, actually rewrite our own beliefs.
I mean, it seems like a simple question, doesn't it? We all like to think that our beliefs are in the driver's seat, that they guide our actions. But what if it's the other way around? What if the things we do actually end up shaping what we believe? Now that is the central puzzle we're going to tackle today. And to get to the bottom of it, we're going to stage a little showdown, a clash of the titans, between two major psychological theories. Each one has a totally different take on why we think and act the way we do. Okay, section 1. A puzzle of the mind. To really get this rivalry, we first need to look at a really common, and let's be honest, very human mental puzzle, the way we justify our choices. I want you to think about the last time you built some of that flat pack furniture. You know the drill. You pour hours of your life into it. There's sweat, maybe some frustration. The instructions are basically a nightmare, but when you're finally done, you look at that wobbly bookshelf with this weird sense of pride, right? And you even find yourself defending its little flaws to your friends.
So what's really going on here? Why do our minds do these mental gymnastics to justify a tough or maybe even a bad choice? This is the core mystery that our two rival theories are about to go head-to-head to solve.
All right, section 2, explainer 1, cognitive dissonance. So first up in the ring is contender number 1. And I'm willing to bet you've heard of this one before. It's basically seen as the reigning champ in the world of attitude change. I'm talking about cognitive dissonance.
That's right. In this corner, the heavyweight champion, cognitive dissonance theory. This is definitely the more famous of the two theories, and for good reason, really. It packs a seriously powerful explanatory punch.
So what exactly is it? Well, at its core, it's all about this feeling of inner tension. It's that uncomfortable psychological stress you get when your actions just don't line up with your beliefs. Our brains absolutely hate this feeling of conflict, and believe me, they will do almost anything to make it go away. So how does it work? It basically happens in 3 steps. First, you've got a conflict, right? An action clashing with a belief. This creates that really uncomfortable feeling, the dissonance. And finally, to get rid of that yucky feeling, your brain changes something. And let's face it, it's usually a whole lot easier to change your belief than it is to go back and undo the action.
And this is a perfect illustration of what's happening with that piece of furniture. You have two clashing ideas. 1, I just spent my entire Saturday on this thing. And 2, this bookshelf is, well, it's kind of awful. That clash creates mental stress. So to relieve it, your brain just shifts your belief from this is awful to, you know what, I actually love this thing. The effort ends up justifying the outcome.
Okay, now for section 3, explainer 2, self-perception theory. But hold on, the champion doesn't get to stand unopposed. It's time to bring in the challenger, self-perception theory, and it makes a completely different case.
And in this corner, the challenger, self-perception theory. This one offers a much cooler, more detached explanation for the exact same behavior. It basically argues there's no big internal battle going on at all.
So with this theory, the key idea is that we figure out our own attitudes and beliefs simply by looking at our own behavior. Almost like we're an outsider watching ourselves. It's like we're detectives, just observing our own lives and drawing the most logical conclusion from the evidence. So, if we go back to our furniture example, this theory says there's no mental pain, no discomfort at all. You just observe the evidence, plain and simple. I just invested 8 hours of my weekend building this thing. And from that one observation, you infer your attitude. Wow, I guess anyone who spends that much time on something must really care about it. So I must really like this bookshelf. See? It's a logical conclusion, not a desperate reaction to stress. All right, section 4, the rivalry, a verdict. So here we are. We've got two very different explanations. The emotional heavyweight champion versus the cool-headed logical challenger. I think it's time for a verdict. Which brings us to the big question, right? When it comes down to these two, which one is true? Is it the internal, uncomfortable push of dissonance? Or is it the calm, logical observation of self-perception? Which one's the real winner here? And this is really where the two theories go their separate ways.
Think of it like this. Cognitive dissonance is all about emotion. It's a hot process, driven by that urgent need to escape tension. Self-perception, on the other hand, is a cool, rational process. It's not about running away from a bad feeling. It's just about making a logical deduction based on the facts.
So who wins the fight? Well, in a pretty surprising twist, most psychologists now say it's a draw. Yeah, it seems like both theories have their place. They just operate in different situations. Cognitive dissonance really kicks into high gear when our actions seriously clash with a big core belief we have. But for more subtle stuff, when our feelings are a little fuzzy or ambiguous, that's when the cool logic of self-perception theory seems to take over.
Okay, section 5, why this bottle matters. So beyond this just being a really cool academic debate, why should you actually care about this rivalry? I mean, what's the big takeaway for your own life? Well, for starters, understanding this whole rivalry helps you start to recognize your own rationalizations. You can see why a friend might fiercely defend what seems like a really bad decision. It shows you how tiny little actions, over time, can actually lead to big changes in what you believe. And maybe most importantly, it gets you to ask yourself, hey, is this something I truly believe? Or is it just a story I'm telling myself to justify something I've already done? And ultimately, that's the real power here. Understanding these theories is kind of like getting a user manual for your own mind. They're not just some abstract ideas for a textbook. They give you a lens to better understand your own behavior and, honestly, the behavior of pretty much everyone around you. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to really chew on. What belief do you hold, not because of some deep, unshakable conviction, but simply because it's a convenient way to justify an action you've already taken? Think about it.